part of our lives as African Americans. We hear this word at some point in our lives. And it's not like we even all use the word. It's just that some people in these countries that we're working as Peace Corps volunteers, they don't know that that's tied to slavery. So it's not acceptable for them to be using that word. We don't use it around the people that we work with, and it's just not right. So we have to tell them, okay, you're watching pop culture and some other medium that is giving you a misinformation about the African American experience.
Yeah, and it's oftentimes volunteers are the only Black Americans that Ghanaians will meet during their entire lives. And so you have to really educate people without making them feel bad about using the word, because they just don't know the origin of the word, especially in context of American history. And so you have to try to use these incidences as teaching opportunities and not personal attacks on who you are as a volunteer or as a person. And then I'd also like to note too, during that last segment, talking about the perception of beauty. In Ghana, for the first time in my life, I was surrounded by people who weren't taught about modern day Black love and how beautiful Blackness is. And so Ghana being a post-colonial culture, there are a lot of corrupted ideals and beliefs about self-image and beauty. And so it's often reflected onto the Black volunteer when they get in the country, because they say, hey, like, you're Black, so you are also ugly, and there's a volunteer here in our country that mentioned something just like that, Missy, talking about how her counterpart just insulted her because of her skin color. And it's important that you have to recognize as a volunteer, it's not directed at you. The negativity is not you. They're not talking to you, they're talking to the idea of you. And we have to make sure that Black is beautiful. That phrase resonates within our communities and our cultures.
Absolutely. Black is beautiful. So, but we've explored some of the challenges, Sarah. I want to go ahead and get into some of the successes that we face during our services. So let's go ahead and roll those videos.
All right, yeah, let's take a look.
I like our colors and our diversity. We're all different shapes and colors. I like the things that we come up with, the ways of changing how we've gone through life, the ways that we always trying to better ourselves.
And so it is very difficult and to keep strong. And I look at the children's faces who I work with many times, in which that gives me joy. I'm a mom, and so I understand how important it is to build those children, build those foundations, to make them stronger, to be productive people. So that's how I continue, so I don't eat tea, because there's been a couple times I wanted to say, you know what, screw this, I'm going home. But seeing them, Auntie Barbara,
I felt like I had to go through this experience to show other women, to be that leader, to make that path for them. I am healing through encouraging them, like the way I see myself before and now has changed.
And so that support system, even just looking at each other, and then when we speak up, we know we're not alone. And so just from past experiences, when you're like the only Black person in the class, or you always look at, oh, you're playing the race card, but with us, we have that bond. It's like, no, you felt that way, you felt that way. Yes, let's speak up. And we're supporting each other in speaking up.
I had this epiphany with Black History Month. Like, I always enjoyed it at home, but while I was here, it made me realize being African American is its own culture, and it's just as rich as to lead a foreign country or African culture.
What I do now is, in my room, I write sticky notes on my mirror, and they're all over my wall, covered in color. I write the opposite of everything the way I feel. So, for example, I feel ugly, but I write I'm beautiful. Or I no longer allow others to define who I am. I've learned to encourage myself, build myself up, and letting them steal my joy.
we have also amazing white friends who are just amazing. You know, they're also share our experiences, and that's the thing. Like, you don't have to be brown to notice bad things or that are happening or being said. Like, that's not, it's a level of, I guess, consciousness. And we have really close friends who are able to explore those things that people are like really shy to talk about.
Have those real conversations.
I feel like I have to make more of an effort to connect and to be support for them, because in America we are considered minorities and we kind of go through similar things in America, and then coming to Ghana where I have this privilege that they don't have, it makes me feel uncomfortable, and I feel like I need to reach out a little bit more.
All right, well, as you all saw in that last segment, it really is up to other volunteers to reach out and be a support. You know, I can speak specifically about Mike and myself's relationship. Over the past 2.5 years, we've grown really close to each other, but I think a lot of it is as a result of us sharing our experiences when we've gone through really tough times, you know. There have been moments in my service where I felt like I didn't want to talk to anyone, and I thank you for even reaching out to me, you know, just saying like, hey sis, how you doing? And it was a reminder for me to not isolate myself when I'm struggling with my service, because I think it's important for us to remember, like, always be an ally, and be an ally in the active sense of the word. It's not a noun, it's a verb to be an ally.
You're right. And through social media, like I said earlier, people are reaching out before they reach the country. So if you're a volunteer coming into Ghana, you have an ally. And actually after people get here, somehow they mysteriously find us and we become allies too. So I mean, we love talking to trainees. We love helping them. Talking them through their frustrations, it helps us. So we are giving them strategies to make sure people can have a successful 2-year service.
Yeah, and speaking of strategies, the volunteers in this program have also given some of their advice. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they've got to say to future Peace Corps volunteers.
Cool. Thank you.
So you do have to come with the notion that things will be a little different, and that's okay. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just the reality. It's the world we live in.
And sometimes you just gotta laugh, because some things you won't change. You can't change everyone's mind. So it's just have an open mind with everything.
Be ready. You might face something which we might not like.
They have to be patient. It's a really difficult and challenging thing that you've signed up to do, and you're going to have to do a lot of self-reflection and a lot of growth over your 2 years.
Come in knowing that you don't know everything, and don't pretend like you know everything, because they will tell you, like, no, this is not right.
I mean, I think it would be a lot like when you're back in the States, where you have to kind of gauge how free you can be with people. I think that even though we think of Peace Corps as a very liberal and a very progressive place, we're still all coming from a wide variety of backgrounds, and so you can't just, as much as it sucks, you can't just trust that everyone has the education that they need to have in this regard.
Ghanaians as a whole, they are all different at the same time, and not everyone adopts the same attitude. So the generalization, it's great to be aware, but don't let that awareness make you treat everyone the same, as in you're Ghanaian, so you're going to be this way.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't limit yourself to just the African American community, because when you step out of it, you'll learn things you never knew that you never knew.
It's about just making Ghana work for you. Right. You know, it won't be easy, but you can do it. You can make it work for yourself.
So I think it's really important to have that network of volunteers that you can talk to about it.
You don't always want to be trying to call home, because they've not come to Africa. So it's a very difficult thing. They could say, oh, we'll just come back home. Well, no, that's not the purpose of me calling you.
You should come here and try to not visualize yourself and those expectations that you have.
Try going out to someone else's village or another volunteer that's having a great experience and see that everyone's different.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. They have a large network of Peace Corps volunteers that are there for you, staff. Peace Corps Diversity Support Network as well.
Yeah, PCDS.
PCDS. We're here for you. We are always here to listen and support you in any way possible.
All right, well, it looks like we've reached the end of our program today. We hope that you all have gained something from the stories and insights of volunteers' experiences.
Yeah, Peace Corps is a great opportunity, and Ghana is a beautiful country. So as you go forth, always remember, think B-I-G.